Welcome to the Big Seance Podcast. I'm Patrick Keller of BigSeance.com, and this is a place for an open discussion on all things paranormal, but specifically topics like ghosts and hauntings, paranormal research, spirit communication, psychics and mediums, and life after death. So basically, anything that pops up in my paranormal world. The candles are already lit, so you might as well come on in and join the seance.
April Roane has been transforming lives worldwide for over 2 decades. In 2009, she started by transforming her life first. She was guided to join a recovery program for food addiction. Using tools of recovery, she began her very personal and challenging journey of self-transformation, service, and faith. April is a channel and vessel for messages of truth, hope, light, and love. This creates a natural healing and alignment experienced through, from, and of spirit, higher power, universe, Gaia, source, God, angels, guides, loved ones, the collective consciousness, ascended masters, and light beings. April receives messages from spirit in the form of feelings, visions, thoughts, ideas, sounds, knowing, smells, and tastes. And she uses the ability of remote viewing with spirit when working with others, specifically in paranormal and missing person cases. April is the author of several books, including the Love Your Inner Empath Workbook, and her children's book, Goodnight Just the Same. She is the co-host of Spiritually Rogue Podcast with Braxton and April Roane. April is the president and founder of the Divine Association of Sacred Women and strives to impact the lives of children, women, and empaths worldwide positively and powerfully. She's been featured on A&E's My Ghost Story, Caught on Camera, the Bio Channel, CBS Radio, Rogue Talk Radio, the Hotel Cassadaga, the Historic Jefferson Hotel, and Pawtographs for Pooches Parafest. You can learn more about April Roane by visiting aprilroane.com, and that's ROANE.com. Welcome back to the parlor, April.
Thank you for having me back. I love being here.
I'm excited to catch up because it's been a long time.
Yes.
April was last here in the parlor in episode 70 in 2016, y'all. 2016. Don't be confused, though, because her last name was Claxton at that time, but that's her. And I'll put that link in the show notes. We talked about, I don't know if you remember much of this, but we talked about cruises.
Yes.
We talked about finding balance. We talked about what was at the time the exciting new ability to go live on Facebook. And April was rocking the Facebook Lives back then.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I remember thinking, wow, this is new and fancy. I've got to learn how to do that. We talked about awakening after addiction, abuse, coming out, and depression, meditation and journaling, paranormal investigation, and the role of psychic mediums in that space, plus her take on what life is like on the other side. It was a good episode.
It was a good episode. I enjoy speaking with you. It's fun. It's heartwarming.
Oh, I would love to be in the same room with you sometime. I think that would be like a little party.
It would be.
Or like an investigation together.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing because I would get you to use all of your abilities and intuitive,
I'm all about pulling back from tech these days in a paranormal investigation. So I would be very open to that.
It's interesting. A lot of watching other groups and people, doing investigations or working cases, how many people are talking about intuition. A lot of teams have a psychic medium now. And it makes me chuckle because I'm like, why were you guys so difficult years ago? Most of our experiences, they talk about those personal experiences. Yeah, you're only having them because you're aware of them and you're picking up on things because you're intuitive. So,
Yet there was for the longest time, and probably still in, some areas, the longest time, a stigma about using, and I shouldn't say using, but incorporating mediumship or a medium on a team in paranormal investigation. So you see that's changing a little bit?
A lot. Yeah, it's nice. In fact, I used to be the only psychic medium in the room. Now there's like tons of traffic. So it's kind of nice.
Very cool. Well, I want to talk a little more about that later.
Yeah.
In the last episode, April gave me 2 of my favorite ever sound bites or clips from a Big Seance episode, and I loved them so much that I featured them in a highlights reel that I used for several years. And I want to play that for everybody right now.
And, my goal, in addition to being a psychic medium, is I'm April. I'm a person. And I have a family, and I have a life, and I have a past that I'm trying to figure out. And, if I don't balance myself, my mind, my body, my soul, sometimes I do a really good job. Sometimes I flub it up a lot. But if I don't balance me, I'm not going to be a good intuitive. They don't ever want to talk about, remember that time you stole my money, you hole. They always talk about, they never say that. They always talk about those moments that took our breath away, not the moments that we lost our breath.
I love it, especially that last thing. It's just, it's beautiful the way you put that. And yeah, y'all check out episode 70 if you have not heard that episode with April the last time she was here. So that was 7 years ago. How has your work changed since then? You just had, full disclosure, we are lucky to have April here after a full day of readings. And so I want to thank you for sharing your energy after doing all of that. But how has your work changed? How have you grown? What have you learned? Tell us.
I ended up in East Texas, so it changed. No, life has changed, but my work is the same. I am working a few more missing persons cases, which is bittersweet. It's a whole different experience. Balancing myself has not changed. That's still a daily struggle. But it is, no matter if you're a psychic medium or, you're running a company or you're newly retired, balancing yourself, especially in today's world, is more important now than ever. I use the word struggle because it's difficult to pay attention to your own intuition on a normal, let alone doing it with more people documented on this planet than ever before. So the noise, the vibration is loud. And then to be your own authentic self through all of it. Like I said earlier, there's, psychic mediums everywhere now. So what I do is not necessarily so taboo. And, it's a lot. So,
and you're a mom, and you're a wife, and you're a paranormal investigator. I mean, you have a full-time job too, right?
Yes.
In addition to your reading. So, I mean, that is a lot to take in and still function as a medium and help everyone else.
I've noticed since doing this professionally in 2009 is when I kind of started doing it for people. I've noticed the areas where I get to work with spirit are my saving graces. It's where I may be tired going into the session, but when I'm done with a session, I feel very connected to spirit, higher power, universe, God, whatever you want to call it. I feel rejuvenated. It's a blessing. So my readings have actually been blessings over the last few years. We've had a lot of changes on our planet. I mean, more so than I think we're even talking about. And, it's nice to see how humanity's evolving. I will always see that in readings. I will say that there are masses of people evolving in their own way. And then there's little groups of people outside of that are really pushing our species forward. But God has never changed. God is more willing to talk. God is more willing to receive your prayers with curse words in them. God is more blatant. God is more present than ever before. It's amazing. God is more loud. Just as much as we think the opposite, it's not. Love is the only real thing on our planet. And it's neat. It's really neat to see some of this stuff shifting in loud, big ways.
We've already hit on some of the big changes in 7 years, but we just came out of COVID and we lost a lot of people to COVID.
Yeah.
And I think people forget about that. We're so excited to move on from that, but we have to remember that. And historically, in times of great loss, interest in spiritualism or the need to reach out to find mediums has always risen in those times.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed any difference in that?
I noticed COVID changed what COVID needed to change. But I also noticed that it created a very clear line between those who are aware and those who aren't. And I hate that word woke nation, a woke, shush with the wokeness. If you're aware of wokeness, then you probably need to be more woke than you're willing to be. So, it just frustrates me. But,
and I'm sure you hear that a lot in Texas.
I just passed a car. I just said this yesterday. I passed a car. This guy was driving. It was a beat up, horrible car. I mean, thank God he had transportation. But my bigger concern was all of the bumper stickers on it that said COVID was a hoax.
Mm-hmm.
I just, and those who are hearing this are part of the little group that is sprinkled out here pushing our species forward. Because I know people who unfortunately have passed because of COVID. It was not a hoax. My readings changed drastically because I had people that wanted to talk to their loved ones they just lost because of COVID. So I've noticed that COVID really has separated our species moving forward. It really has. Our planet has not been the same ever since COVID. It just hasn't. We're doing things differently. Zoom, face-to-face communication through a device is normal now, whereas people talking about Zoom in 2019 and, people are doing schooling now through the computer, whereas that was, homeschooling was such a big, again, a taboo. It's normal now. But I think that it would behoove us to not look at how much COVID has changed us. It is important for us to see the trauma that it has done to our society. We're still healing. I think we're still, as a society, we still don't know what it did to us. I mean, 1 minute we're fine, and the next minute we're forced to be inside without enough toilet paper. I mean, that is, if you think about the widespread that people were dating, people were having virtual dates on rooftops. Like, this was to get a whole nation to wear masks. I know that there were people that were, screw you, I won't do it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how we can't get our species to pay attention and just follow rules, but yet the majority of us were wearing masks, fighting for our lives. We didn't know what the hell COVID was when it was unfolding. And now everybody's like, I got through it. We were fine. We knew. No, we still don't know what's going on. I think those of us who are having these conversations are on the leading edge. Those of us who are driving around in our cars with bumper stickers about how 2020 didn't exist, you stay right where you are. You're doing fine way over there. That's okay. And that's that big division. That really is. If you have gone through 2020 unchanged, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Something's way off, because 2020, 2021, 2022, even this year, nothing has been the same since 2020.
Yeah, it shifted everything, and it's still shifting.
My butt is not the same since 2020. It's flatter. I don't know where the majority of it went. So it's true. Our bodies have changed. Honestly, everything changed. If you look at 2020, so much of our government split.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was always fucked up and splitting. Excuse the expression. I don't know if you could beep that out of there. But
I love bleeping, so make me use it as much as you want.
Okay, perfect. I knew that the Republicans and Democrats were kind of against each other, but I never thought I would see Republicans against Republicans. That part I kind of like. It's like, whoa! But I think people who are out here on the leading edge realize that all government is a joke. All of it. I'm not saying that there's not some shred of dignity still in there, but everything that's happening and unfolding is a huge distraction right now. It's a massive distraction from what? From whatever it is we need to create out here, because time is limited and we got some shit to do. Whatever's going on over there is not working. It's not working. We're not more cohesive as a nation. We're less cohesive than we were in, when was it, 1792? When was what was it? You're the teacher, so you would know.
I mean, music teacher. Let's get this straight.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Music teacher. Are you talking about 1776?
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
You did know that. I knew it was in the 1700s when we... what was it? The oh my God, the Declaration of Independence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, I did pay attention to some stuff.
I'm very proud of you. Yeah.
Yay! I am the one that failed Algebra 1 4 times, though.
Oh, girl, don't even start on algebra.
And I use that shit now. I use it if X is truck driver 1 and he gets this percentage, then his paycheck will be C. So, but that's funny. But yeah, I think we need to be having these conversations while we're out here on the leading edge, because we cannot change the masses. We never will change the masses. It's too big of a vibration. Stupid is as stupid does.
Well, I was just going to say, on a positive side of things, 2016, before all of this, you were talking about balance and all of that. And I think that many of us, since COVID, have learned to prioritize things.
Yep.
And, I've talked about it before on the show, but even though I have officially retired, it's still kind of a part of this great resignation thing that went on.
Yeah.
And while that's kind of scary too, that's a big shift, but everybody's looking out for themselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe more than they were. So that's cool.
That's true. I think we also realize that we can't necessarily rely on government funding and resources like we thought we could in a state of emergency, because it's not forever. So I think there are some of us that, really grew up a little bit and realized, shit, I need to create a savings account, I should be really better at, where my money goes. It's kind of, COVID did what COVID needed to do. And it's still there. I mean, I got COVID again not too long ago. Different. It was just different. I mean, like with anything, when spirit needs us to shut up and sit down, we will get sick or, which if you look at it on a bigger level, COVID brought families together. I had clients that were saying, damn, my job was the escape plan. I didn't realize now I'm at home all the time. What the hell did I create? That's sad, but I think that it forced us as a species to look at things we refused to, which was kind of cool. But yeah, my work, it shifted in who I'm working with, the human beings that were coming to me prior to COVID, and then the human beings coming to me now, even now, 3 years later, has changed. Yeah. The people who are avoiding me, coming to me, avoiding me before COVID, now it's even more deliberate to avoid the psychic medium after.
What do you mean by that? That's interesting.
I found that we are so much more aware of our awareness, which is kind of neat, creepy. It's creeped some people out. But people that have avoided me before COVID was kind of like, I just don't want to see the psychic medium. Now people are aware. I don't want to hear her tell me the things that I know need to change. I'm going to really avoid your psychic friend over there because I don't want to have to hear what it is I know that I should be doing, and I'm not. Let me be ignorant by choice, please.
Interesting. A fear of truth.
Well, bigger than that, the reality that you're intuitive and you're ignoring by choice your own intuition. Which is fine. Don't get the reading. I'm okay with that. But you just proved to yourself you're already tapped in, tuned in, turned on, and ignorant. So you go on with your bad self. You continue doing you, boo. We'll be good.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, and that's the problem with our world today. We are mighty. We are powerful. We are of love and light. We just are so afraid of it.
We do ignorant really well.
We do. I just said the other day, we are the smartest species on this planet and the dumbest at the same time.
Indeed.
Oh, wow.
Indeed. I concur.
Woo-hoo.
Before the interview, I was creeping all up on your socials and all of that. And I would like to know a little bit about the Azalea Inn Bed and Breakfast and your work with your husband, Braxton. You want to talk a little bit about maybe that investigation or any other recent investigations you want to talk about?
Well, not only do I investigate with him and am married to him, he just actually walked in. He's cute. But I literally work with him. He's the parts manager and I'm the office manager. Oh. Yeah, I guess we can't get enough of each other. But so in 2016, I don't know when I did the reading if he and I had met yet. I don't think we did. I think it was prior.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Coolness.
Yeah. Another one of those life changes since then. Yeah.
Yeah, big. Like I taught empathy. I did a workbook on it. He talked about it. And at a lot of paranormal events, we would each individually, separately be contracted to come. And that's what actually we would talk about is using your own abilities during working cases and stuff. So long story short, that's how we met at an event talking about empathy. God has jokes. But yeah, he is the founder of Fear Paranormal. Closed the doors since just because working full time and, maintaining a healthy relationship takes a lot of work. So paranormal cases took a backseat. And we just recently, long story short, joined a new paranormal group that we're not running. It's nice. Question Paranormal is the name. And so we've been doing more working cases again. And I love it. It's so cool to watch him in his zone, doing his thing with equipment, me doing stuff with intuition, and then working with a group again. The Azalea Inn. So I'm in East Texas, and every little town in Texas is haunted. I don't care what you say. And East Texas is the Bible Belt, so this is fun. But you can't openly talk about it unless there's money involved. And there's, then business owners are okay. It's one of those, hocus pocus things. So old school backwards. And it's sad because so many little towns out here are haunted. If people just knew how the business itself could capitalize on energy. But Jefferson, Texas is awesome. It is a neat little town. If anybody ever wants to come out here and it's got antique shops and a great fudge place and really neat things, but lots of haunted little old hotels. The Excelsior Hotel, then there's the Jefferson Hotel itself, the Azalea Inn. There's so many little bed and breakfast, but they are these beautiful buildings that have been around for a long time. And I know you had someone on from Most Haunted, and they're used to overseas, which is really a long time for history. So American history is not that long, but
yeah, we really think it's old.
I'm like, it's such an old building. And I was watching something the other day. We watch Ghost Theory on YouTube. I don't know if you've heard of Ghost Theory.
I think I have, yeah.
Oh my God. Love Joe and not Joe, Elliot, not Elliot. They're great. But their buildings are like thousands of years old. You know, it's kind of neat. But so Jefferson, though, the Jefferson itself, oh God, one of the presidents has stayed in. I mean, it's some old stuff. The Azalea Inn is gorgeous. See, I get pulled in to places when they've already done the history and the research. I don't want to know what it is.
Yeah.
So doing it, we went live a little bit. We also used the Estes method, which was kind of neat. So I wanted to go live to show what that looked like to people.
I love me some Estes method.
Oh my God. It was it could creep you out because it's like, yes, there's something here and it's communicating with me in real time.
Especially if you get two of them going on at the same time. Have you ever done that? Because sometimes they communicate back and forth with each other.
Yes. It's neat. Like people that, don't knock it until you try it. Don't knock it until you research it. And then you see why we're communicating with the other side and having results and intelligent conversations. Pretty cool. But that's what we did there. And houses speak. Buildings speak. History speaks. Layers of energy speak. It's pretty neat. We were sitting in the back while the SS method was going on. And in the back of the place, there were shadows all over the place. It freaked me out. Sometimes I still get nervous. It's like, what is that? But it's neat. The history out here is really neat because it's a different area than South Florida that I'm used to. The history timeline is you've got a lot of Southern, Wild West stuff that comes through. I'm not far from the Monkey Bridge in Athens, Georgia, where that whole circus train derailed. And
I need to read up on that.
So cool. The monkeys got out and people got killed and it was a mess. The Goat Bridge, that's out here. The Goatman Bridge. The lights, there's this road where lights just appear. Like you can literally sit and watch them all over going right down the road itself. So East Texas is neat. You've got antique shops everywhere. So the building's old, the land has got energy on it, and then all the stuff in the antique shop has got, there's energy there. So that fascinates me. And that's what we do out here in Texas. We do paranormal events because you can't just do this stuff out here on the side of the road. There's lots of downtown. There's, I think, one metaphysical shop. But other than that, there are people that will protest.
Wow.
Oh, it was bad. And then the Satanic Church throws their little piece in, which was interesting because there was a big pagan holiday, which I thought, festival. And then the Satanic Church decided from Dallas to come in and do unbaptisms publicly. And I'm like, we're just going to stir a nice big uproar out here in little Tyler, Texas. We're going to give, these older white folks some massive heart attacks.
Sounds neat.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Tonight, there's a witch's ball, and I really wanted to go. Not that I'm a witch, but I'd love, people like me out there, different, out here in the middle of all this. So, it is neat. It's neat to see where the light is starting to.
Well, and maybe that's why you're in Texas now. You never know.
I know, but I didn't want to be one to poke the bear and piss the people off. But God tends to do that with me. Let's get her to rile up all the quiet folk,
I wanted to tell you, I don't even know if Braxton knows this, but I don't know if I officially met Braxton, but I knew of Braxton and hung out a little bit with Braxton and Chip Coffey.
Okay, yeah.
Before I even met you.
That's so crazy.
Isn't that weird?
I love, he did a thing on, what was it? Spirits on Route 66 or something with the Clean Brothers and Chip Coffey. And we just did an event with the Clean Brothers. They're doing a big thing in San Antonio, a big event. I don't know if Chip's going to be there. There's a lot of individuals that are going out there, which was kind of neat. But that's so
it was
funny.
at Belvoir Winery in Liberty. Yeah.
We were Dustin Perry was out here. And he actually came out to do an event with us that wasn't paranormal. It was for mental health.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I love Dustin. He's amazing. But he was saying the same thing. He had done an event with Braxton at that. I think Dustin was at that event, I believe.
Well, there have been many.
Yeah.
Chip and, Amy and Adam love them some Belvoir Winery.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. How funny. That is so neat.
Yeah. And I just happened to meet you later and then, following you on social, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know Braxton.
They got married. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like Ed and Lorraine, but not.
But better.
But different, but not. But there's not a lot of Valak around right now, which is nice.
Yeah. That's neat. That's neat too, not having that.
No, yeah, we had some issues in the beginning when we first met. We actually had the Archdiocese involved. We had John Zaffis, Uncle Johnny, involved. We had our local church involved. We had people working with us doing other modalities of healing. Yeah, when you are out here in this field, Ryan Buell said it best. It's like working with radioactive material. You're going to get some on your shoe and you're going to bring it home. And, people are used to having things follow them home. They're not used to it being dark and because everyone has a story. But when the devil looks at you and you're looking at the devil, it's not something that just undoes itself in the moment. There's timelines and retaliation and strategic shit that goes into all of that. And nonetheless, we're in a good place now. But yeah, when we first met, let's just say Braxton's eyes went from green to blue. They were green, then they went to this period of just slate gray, and then to blue. But we had a lot of people praying. If I was not a psychic medium, I would not have known anything. I would not have felt that there was something else in the room with us that was not he or I. Oh, yeah. It was bullshit. It was scary.
I just now got what you were talking about with the change of the colors. I missed that. Now I'm there.
Oh, he cocked his head one day and it wasn't him. I mean, I had to put holy water, 1 drop, in his tea, and the gallon of tea that he would make all the time. It's like getting rid of fleas and ticks, but times 1,000,000. You have to keep doing things, and it's a lot of prayer. I mean, it is what it is. Let's just say that there are families that are very happy because of the work we've done. We just took their shit home with us.
Girl, I know, because, my listeners have heard the story 1,000,000 times. I was a speaker at an event just recently and talked about the story, but I have very few negative experiences where I thought I brought something home. And I used to poo-poo, that people could bring things home. And this was even before the podcast, but I was doing some seance experiments that I was putting together with a medium friend of mine that same week. I had done helping a family. It was a private, family investigation of their home with stuff going on. And I was in the middle of doing some EVP experiments and research. And one night that week, a big old cold, dark hand reached over the side of the bed and tried to pull me out of bed. And if I would have heard somebody tell me that story before, or even now, I would roll my eyes and be really skeptic about it. And it never happened again. And that was the one time. But I was like, okay, all right, I got you.
That's the moment. That's the moment I'm talking about, is when you realize the devil's looking right at you. It's not a moment where you look away and you run and you lose them. You know, you shouldn't have been poking in there in the first place. We assisted a deliverance. Someone just said, come sit in the room. It was in Connecticut. And we thought, we're in the area anyway. I work in an event at the Payne House. We'll just come and we'll just sit in the room. No. For 6 hours, my job was to bring the divine light into the space, to bring in. I was sweating. I was chugging holy water. I mean, I'm at a point where I'm like, what the hell am I doing? We're not trained. Psychic mediums aren't necessarily trained when they tell you to bring the light. It's not like we go, okay, you know, I just it was a whole. I watched a 400.
Let me revert to my handbook here. Let me.
Well, hold on, devil. Hold on. Don't do your oppression. Give me a moment. It was a fight or flight situation, and it retaliated, and it retaliated very well. The thing with dark energy is it's not always blatant. It doesn't always happen. It waits till you are tired, and it waits until no one else is around. And it doesn't do everything physically. Often it works on your depression. It'll work on your thoughts. It'll work on your lower vibrational thoughts, the nasty beliefs you have about money, the fears or the thoughts you have about your spouse, any insecurities you may have. That's where it's going to play. And, you know, we actually reached out to people in the paranormal community needing help. And they said, we just need to pray. We'll just pray for you. What do you mean? What do you mean? I need help now. I don't know how to handle this. You know, and thank God for John Zaffis, because there was an, in addition, remember law of attraction. So you're not just working cases and bringing shit home. Dark energy works in numbers. So there was an item that was raffled off from Waverly, and it never came from Waverly. It was an item that was supposed to be destroyed per the Vatican, and it found its way into my husband's collection. Of course. And
Wow.
I'm talking weeks before we met, just weeks before we met. Someone that's friends with him won it from the auction and thought, let me just give it to Braxton. He'd love this. It was a little stuffed monkey. Cute. No. I mean, it made its way back to John Zaffis for his museum. It was packaged in 3 different kinds of salts. Like, however he told me to mail that little shit, it went. I mean, it was a process. It's when we were living in St. Augustine in 2017 to 2018. But yeah, so.
But all good now?
It brought us closer together. Yes. I mean, yeah, I told Braxton, I fought demons for you. But it's just something that most couples don't ever have to talk about and deal with. And
For real.
You talk about it and it sounds like it's a book you read or it's a story you saw on TV. And I'm thinking, no, I watched the bitch. She was 400 pounds. She lifted 5 grown men off of the floor at one time. Saw it with my own eyes. And I wasn't medicated when it was happening. So, yeah. That was the beginning of our relationship. So that's how we connected, the expedited route. And here we are, 7 years. We just celebrated 7 years on the 10th of this month. And we're grateful.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's for 7 years. I've never been with anybody at the 7-year mark where I'm still giddy.
Aw.
Right. Normally you're at the 7-year mark and you're thinking, how is this still happening? How is this? And how am I?
Is this still a thing?
Is it legal? Am I sane? Is this karma? This must be karma. No, it's nice. It is nice to, it is a very divine thing. But, yeah, he was evidently all paranormal before we met. He was out doing his thing. It's so cool you guys met.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Well, I don't know that we officially met, but it was kind of a backstage situation with Chip, and Braxton was around, and there were a few, kind of jokes and funnies. I remember somebody was presenting in the room, and it was some demonologist or something, and they were playing audio of exorcisms, and it was all And
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Chip and I and Braxton were like looking at each other like, okay. And then when it was time for Chip to go in, I'll never forget this. Chip looked at us and went, and speaking of demons, here comes Chip Coffey. 'Cause
Yeah.
he was next. And I remember almost peeing my pants.
He's great. He's great. I finally met him, and he knew of me and of what we're always like two people away from each other because of what we do. And I finally said, can I just take my picture with you before, all your makeup melts off? And he was like, bitch. But yes, I go, please, before your makeup melts. And he's great. He's great. But
yeah, I love me some Chip.
Yeah, you might have been talking about what is his name? He is amazing, and he helped us with our own case.
Possibly.
Father, oh God bless. I think it was Bishop James Long.
Maybe. I would never remember the name.
Yeah, well, he sat, and I've never sat in on one of his presentations, and I think it was the very last PIA, Paranormal Information Association, and we went, and I was sitting in with Braxton listening, and the hair on the back of my neck stood up because it's energy. That type of energy is unlike anything. It's just, people are like, yeah, I had a dark spirit once. No, you would not. You would be forever changed because it's a completely different vibration. And so when he had video and audio playing of actual cases, and I just was like, oh no,
La 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 la.
I don't want to hear it, la la la, because it is mind fuckery at its best, man. And that's the thing about the devil, is the devil wants us to laugh it off like it is a joke. It cannot be. It's where he does his best work. But once you're aware of that, it's a non-issue. People are just so shocked about dark energy. We don't talk about it. People actually take bets at paranormal events. How many minutes until you hear the word demon for the first time? But once we realize that the world is filled with light and dark, it's a non-issue. Now go back to your life and make smart choices. Come on. Mm-hmm. It's easy. Very, very easy.
Hey, I don't think last time, and I don't know if the books existed last time, but last time we definitely did not talk about any of your books. Do you want to talk about books?
Yeah, if you want. There's 4. They were all channeled, meaning I shut up, I sat down, I typed. My kids' book is one of my favorites, just because it's little, it's quick. It's about the moon and how the moon tucks every family in at night just the same. I mean, the moon doesn't care. It's tucking everybody in. And that a family is a family as long as it comes from love. There are kids that are raised by their grandparents. There are kids raised by their aunts, their grandparents, 2 mommies, 2 daddies. And there was never a Goodnight book for them, for any of them. I was one of those kids. So, when you read Goodnight Moon, it talks about the mommy and the daddy. And my mommy was across town in her apartment, and my daddy was putting me to sleep. I didn't have a book for me. My grandmother would wake me up in the morning and make my lunch. My mother would pick me up for school and take us. I mean, there was not a book for me. And so I did that. And the artwork of that book, there's over $10,000 worth of artwork that was donated by Diane Koziel. And she blessed me with the artwork. And if you see the artwork in that book, it's gorgeous. It's like they're talking about a step parent, and it's these lions, and then the step parent is like this zebra. And it's just really cute. Oh. Yeah. It's like, it just really fell together. The Empath Workbook, we are the feelers of this world, the clairsentients. Empaths will feel the exact emotion of other living beings. And if you're not an empath, you can't ever understand that. And when you are, you can. And it's overwhelming, and it is life-changing. And if you don't know how to care for the empath that you are, you will burn out. You will the whole world is made up of energy. And if you're a little thermometer constantly picking up that energy, you don't know, are you experiencing your experiences and feelings, or are you picking up on theirs or theirs? So it's a workbook that's really great, that guides you through fears, being aware of your own emotions and what those emotions are and triggers. And there's a part in there about diet, and it's not about losing weight. It stands for, do I eat truthfully for me? Clearly, I skip that part all the time because I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. Leave me alone. Let me eat what I want.
Girl, same.
Ugh. I mean, that has to be some sort of amazing soul adventure that we've chosen, to smell chocolate and put 20 pounds on. Like, what lesson is this shit? What is it?
For me, it's that, but it's also pizza.
Oh, I love pizza. I love good pizza. I love good pizza. I love good garlic rolls.
Last time you were here, we talked about what life was like on the other side and what happens when we die. And one of the first questions I'm always going to have when I get there is going to be like, can I still eat some pizza?
Right?
Like, do we still eat here? Because
people still cook. One of my readings today, the husband was on the other side making a bologna sandwich. I could taste the white bread and mayonnaise and bologna and cheese. And
that is amazing.
Yeah. Constantly, people still smoke on the other side. They drink on the other side. They can't die again. So, I never see people shooting up. It's not like there's a need to do that. But evidently, food is a positive. So it comes with us. It's there. It's at our access. I just don't understand why it's not a positive here now. Like, why is it? I want to eat that. I like it.
So we're going to be eating our chocolate and pizza on the other side, but we're going to be hot.
We're going to be fine. Like, why can't that happen now? I hate that.
Anyway, I totally interrupted your book discussion.
You're good. No, these are questions I have for God. Like, come on, let's talk about this. Can you interrupt me before I come back to let me know there is gravity on the other side? Remember that when you want to eat what you want to eat. Because my joints could care less. My knees are like, screw you. But whatever.
It's my ankles. Yeah.
Yes. My back is like, screw your brownies and garlic knots, lady. But whatever, I do enjoy sweets so very much. I love frosting. And if that is my happy place, that is where my happy place is. I just need to find it, because the first person says, well, there's your emotional eating. I'm not emotional about it. Like, it's just wonderful. Like, I don't, it's, who doesn't smile when you think of like a cookie cake? Like, I don't know what to say. I'm the only one that doesn't have a problem with it. God bless. Leave me alone. So where? Well, I'll figure that out. That's got to be a soul spiritual thing.
That's next on the agenda.
God bless. Like, I wish I was one of those people that was very satisfied with one roll and one morsel of potato and meat. Like, Jesus was fine with that.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, I need more than, give me a basket of those rolls, Mary. Thank you. Pass me that butter. I'm so happy and grateful to be in your presence. Amen.
Oh, thank you for the basket of fish. I was supposed to keep passing it? I'm sorry.
Good. Can I get a little bit of that olive oil? Because I'm going to dip me some fritters and fry it.
Oh. Well, do you have any other delicious final, nuggets or thoughts? And then also just, tell people anything that maybe is coming up, or any socials that you like people to follow you on, any of that stuff.
I mean, I pulled back a lot online. I didn't realize I lived online before. I did. I literally lived online. It was a lot, like videos, and I did a lot. There's tons of free meditations. If people want to know, go to Spiritually Rogue on YouTube. Tons of free meditations. Most of my stuff will just be on my website. Any updates, most of it will be literally you book right on the homepage now because I got lazy. So there is paranormal. If you want to find out about Question Paranormal, the Question Paranormal logo's at the top. But what I will say is this. There are no gurus on this planet. There is only you. You are the guru of you. And you honor all that your ups and downs has brought you to this moment of awareness. And that is where your adventure begins. What does that awareness say? What do you feel? Oh, my life's a shit show. Okay, then let's fix it. Let's change it. Let's start to seek the joy, whatever that is for you. Leave people alone. They're responsible for their own joy. So many of us live our life based on everyone else. I can't get divorced because it'll make everyone uncomfortable. What is wrong with you? You're going to die one day. You literally saddled up and buckled up to live a miserable existence. We did not come this far for a miserable existence. I want to be a little selfish with this experience. If we came this far and we didn't die yet, we better be selfish. I mean, eat what you want to eat. Pray to who you want to pray to. Just don't bring your unbaptisms to the town square, please. It was weird. Anyway, bring your unbaptisms. I can't speak. Let it be so. But, I think people need to really focus on their own home, their own backyard, their own children that are starving, their own kids that they've left at home so they could go to the bar. Like, we don't take care of what's in our own home, and we are focused on Russia and Ukraine and Gaza. And I think that's important. But all we could do is pray and then focus back on the home. Focus on your own unhappy marriage. Focus on your own unhealthy friendships. Handle that shit, please. Because it's overflowing into my energy.
Because it's all up in my grill.
Could you like it. Yeah. It's messing with my heartburn. But anywho, that's it. AprilRoane.com.
Okay.
Come on over.
And you're open for readings.
Yep.
April Roane, you rock. We love you. Thank you for coming back.
Ditto.
Again to the parlor.
Thank you for having me. I love you. This is greatness.
For show notes, including links to anything we may have mentioned in this episode, visit BigSeance.com. And you can continue the discussion and hang out with a great community of paranerds by joining us in the Big Seance Parlor on Facebook. Want to hear your voice in a future episode? Go to BigSeance.com/feedback to learn how. Thank you so much for listening. Unfortunately, it's time to blow the candles out, but we'll see you and light them again next time. Thank you to the following super paranerds who support the show at patreon.com/Big Seance. Jen, Michael Henson, Daryl, Anne-Marie Sullivan, Natalie N., Kim Robb, Josiel Lorenzo, and Susan Davey. My supporters at the parlor guest level, who can be found at bigseance.com/parlorguests, are Anne Rekovich from ozparatech.com, Dina DeCastro of Dina DeCastro Astrology, Janae Michaels from Gray House Tarot and Farm Artifacts, Amy Park Gedicke at amyparkg.com, Lonnie Scott from weirdwebradio.com, Lana and John of Carbon Lilies, Midge Munster from midgemunster.com, Heather N. of dancingbeealchemy.com, Diane Razmataz, Tracy, Andrew Watson, Amy Taylor, Christine Rath Selhe, Mindy Kintop, Hope Battaglia, Cass and Bailey, Melissa Armour, Janet Shaw Benz, Bruce Williams, and Christopher Kohler. And I currently have 4 awesome listeners who support the show at the $10 level, which isn't even a thing. Those paranerds are Glenna Becker, Peggy Hagen, Steve and the lovely Judy Skinner, and James Wilfong. I also have 3 wonderful listeners who support the show at the completely made up $20 level. And those peeps are Norman and Linda Keller and Kevin Gilbert. Thank you, paranerds.